I never thought I'd start the Vinyl Soup off like this, on a serious topic, a commentary. And you know, when that red light goes off, I'm usually overwhelmed with excitement to connect with you all, to talk about your channels, talk about music, talk about vinyl, talk about the topics. Okay? And I've made an effort. You'll notice on the Vinyl Soup, I don't talk a lot about the Church of Elvis and even more Latter-day Saints, which I'm the founder, pastor, spiritual advisor of. Because I've gone out of my way to make the Vinyl Soup secular. You know, it's not a bad idea to join us, though. I've changed a lot of lives around here. Okay? A few of them for the better. But I had to wait. Events made me need to wait some time before I spoke about it. And most importantly, I had to bring the temperature down around here. Okay? There was a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of anger, and that turned into sadness. And I'm going to approach this topic with love, kindness, understanding, bridge building, because those are proven methods for progress. And of course, I'm talking about Harry of Montecito, his comments about Elvis Presley's home, Graceland. They were hurtful. Okay? You know, Harry, you're an American now, and we're so excited to have you. You're one of us now. It's great. And your beautiful bride's back home, Megan, and your kids, lovely young family, and you're in Montecito. That's a good gig. I've been there. I've been to that mission, Santa Barbara. I've been to the Presidio local there. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Montecito means little mountains. Didn't know if you knew that. And it's easy to see how maybe the friars and conquistadors fell in love with a place like that. It probably reminded them of Spain. You grew up very rich, Harry. So it's obvious that you would go to a place like Graceland and see it silly that someone called it king. Or you found it amusing that people called it a mansion. I don't know where you went to school in the UK. I'm sure you went to school where your jacket has a tail. Or maybe you're homeschooled in Windsor. I don't know how it works, but Elvis wasn't literally a king. Okay? Just want to make sure we have clarity on that. Okay? His king was Jesus Christ. He'd be the first one to tell you that if he was alive. But the comments were hurtful. Elvis grew up very poor, unlike you. And when he got some money and got a house that he thought was fit for his mama, yeah, he bought shag carpet. You probably don't even like this sweater. This gorgeous green mohair sweater. Each strand placed by a person, handmade. Okay? So the two of you have different taste. And I found it a little insulting that you would say this about a fellow serviceman. You know, England and America have the special relationship. That's what they call it in the diplomatic world, the special relationship. And you both served in war. Elvis in the Cold War, and you in a vaguely defined war. And look, here's the deal. Elvis didn't brag about all the commies he took out in Dresden behind the lines. Okay? I don't know if it was a good idea for you to do that. Talk about how many jihadists you took out. I don't know. I don't know how I would have done that. But I just thought you would have more respect for a fellow man who wore the uniform. Both of you served with dignity. My fellow normal viewers, my regulars, you might notice there's something gone behind me. Something very special, my prized possession. And you're probably wondering where it is. Well, it's right here. My one of one, Elvis Presley, singing to the angels in heaven. And I said that this was going to be a message of friendship. Harry, I know you're watching. I want you to have this. I want you to hang this in your home in Montecito. And more importantly, I want you to come visit the Church of Elvis and even more Latter-day Saints. We've never had a ginger here. We're ready. I want you to have this. And if you can't make it because you're too busy doing podcasts or counting your money, I don't know. I want you to have this, and we'll mail it to you. Because Harry, like I said, this comes from friendship and understanding. And I think if you knew a little more about Graceland and Elvis, you'd like it a little bit more. You know, as an American, you should know this. It's the second most visited home in America next to the White House. And no one's ever going to visit your home, ever, unless their name's like Clooney. So, or Beckham. Maybe Bex will come visit you. I want Clooney and Beckham to see this in your home and know that you've made friends in America. So thank you, Harry, for watching this. And let's get on to more of the vinyl soup. Thank you for letting me indulge myself a little bit on that topic. You could probably tell how much it meant to me. So I'm excited. You can tell the enthusiasm's back. I'm ready to get into the rest of vinyl soup, and we're going to go to footage, actual footage of the starter reviews of the Rolling Stones mono box set. Let's go. It's out of control. I started counting how many reviews there were of the Rolling Stones mono box set, and I got to 26, and I stopped counting. But in reality, this is very exciting. And even though I call it the Rolling Stones mono box set Fisher-Price version, and that is going to stick, just like Chatty Cakes stuck, and that's going to be put on Discogs. It's so exciting that people got their hands on this. Good on the Rolling Stones for doing this again. And overwhelmingly, it seems like the reviews have been really positive. If they haven't, let me know. But the ones I've watched have been very, very positive for this box set. And I'm going to send you to one review that I really liked. And more importantly, this person just hit 1,000 followers, because this show's about your channels. And that's Harry's Music Room. He does a great job reviewing it, okay? And he hit 1,000 followers, deservingly. He's going to hit 2,000 followers. So I watched quite a few of the reviews, and I really liked Harry's. He talks about the covers. He talks about how he didn't have a lot of the early albums. Does a great job talking about the box set. And I really respect his opinion when it comes to music and vinyl. So head over to Harry's Music Room, all right? And you're going to watch his Rolling Stones mono box set review, because they're still out there. I think they might be on sale, or they always were on sale, the US version. I'm not sure what the price in Europe is. So thank you, Harry, for doing that review. Really liked it. I want to talk about 2 reissues quickly before we get on to other topics. And I'm not sure if these got a whole bunch of attention, but I want to talk about 1, because there's a funny story behind it, and 2, one that I can't believe how old it is. Time is a jet plane. Remember that. Remember that. First one, Cloud Nothing's Attack on Memory. Their 3rd album, I think. The album before this one is really good, but I like this album too. I like on this one a lot. And this is the Steve Albini produced one, which I think he produced their latest too. And it seems to be a rite of passage. If you sound a certain way or have certain influences, that Albini eventually does one of your records. And rightfully so, because as an engineer, he goes by engineer, not producer. He's behind amazing records by the Breeders, Jesus Lizard, obviously Nirvana, on and on and on. Pixies, just so many amazing records that we all love, he's behind. And the thing is when you do a record with him, and Albini's amazing at so many things, not just as an engineer. He is a world famous poker player at this point. He has amazing cooking skills. He makes terrible coffee, trust me. But he's good at so many things, and his sound is fantastic. But when you do an album with him, and then you do media or interviews, people want to talk over and over about what it's like to work with Albini. And when the Cloud Nothings did Attack on Memory, when they got this question a lot, their answer was, we're not sure what it was like, because all he did was play Scrabble on the computer as he recorded us. And sometime later, I'm not sure how much time later, and they seemed bugged about it, or at least at the time, they can't be that bugged, they're working with them again. But Steve Albini did a Reddit Ask Me Anything, And people are asking amazing questions about, you know, what was it like to work with this person, or Nirvana, Breeders, Pixies, Jesus Letters, on and on and on. And then finally someone said, what was it like working with the Cloud Nothings? And he said, I don't know, because I was playing Scrabble on the computer the whole time. So it just cracked me up, because for all his crankiness and uniqueness and his talents, he's a pretty funny guy. And I'll always remember that comment. And the other reissue I want to talk about is Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, is 30. Tori Amos is amazing. And you can look up details, or I'll link to it, Half Speed Master. I'm sure it's going to sound fantastic. But I can't believe Tori Amos's Little Earthquakes is 30 years old, man. Just unbelievable. Legendary album, but 30 years. Crazy. At least the second week in a row, the conversation on how we clean our records has stayed with us in the vinyl community, and more videos have popped up. Maybe even more videos than the week before, okay? And at this point, if I'm being perfectly honest, I think some of us might have better vinyl hygiene than personal hygiene. I don't want to find out though, okay? That's between you and God. But one thing I noticed, okay, that I haven't seen, okay, we always talk about how exciting it is to find a grail out in the wild for a couple bucks at a thrift store or at a swap meet. You know, you're finding a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, or you're finding an Ice Castle's Ludwig cut. You're finding Led Zeppelins, or this, that, and the other, a David Bowie even. You're out there and you find it for a couple bucks, it's in perfect condition. And the thrill, I've experienced this many times, the thrill of finding an amazing record in the wild, okay? But what if I told you, okay, that you could wash your records in the wild, okay? No one talks about that, okay? I think people are afraid. But there are places where you can wash your records of the wild at much higher standards than this ultrasonic garbage. Let's go to the footage. Here we are in nature. Exactly what is on your records when they're dirty? What are you trying to get off these dirty, filthy records that you want clean? It's minerals. Minerals on your records. And what's the best way to clean minerals? Science will tell you, using other minerals, okay? Have you ever read the back of your shampoo bottle? You shampoo, and it tells you to shampoo again in that fine print. You're using shampoo to get the shampoo out, just like using minerals to get minerals out, okay? Maybe using poo to get poo out is the answer. There's fecal transplants, look it up. Okay, here we are in nature. Okay, let's do a voiceover so we can make sure we get these directions correct. This is the Sacred Chattahoochee, and you're getting the velocity of the water with those minerals to clean your record. Now you want to take the temperature of the water. Not too hot, not too cold. If it's too hot, there could be copperheads and might kill you. Okay, now we start our rinse here. This is the start of the rinse. Get that water going, get those minerals up and out of there, and then get some more minerals. Okay, now we're washing. Now you want to do this after the rinse. Now this is a little more advanced technique for those problem sides. You could easily take a VG to probably near mint if you have a problem record by doing this. Now you'll notice that it's a little slower here. A little slower, final rinse, doing a little final rinse here. Now we dry. Now on a cloudy day like this, I'll normally dry for about 6 hours. That seems to work. Another perfectly clean record. You know, a lot of people ask me, hey Rev, how did you come up with this idea to clean your records in the wild? And I tell them, I wash my hair here. Every morning I wash my hair here. And that's when it came to me. My two passions, hair and music. Now, there's a bigger announcement. I would like you to participate in our record cleaning service. For $3, I will clean your records in the wild. Now, a lot of people out there using ultrasonic machines, and they're using chemicals, and they're literally killing the planet. Every single record they clean, a little part of the environment dies. But not here, not here. So, look out for more details on me cleaning your records in the wild, $3 a record. Take care. No one else doing that. No one else using nature to clean their records. It's amazing. All right, let's do a couple video channels and get you out of here. But first, I bet if you were to do a VC poll of their favorite thing to watch from fellow VC people, fellow music vinyl passionate about the format people. I bet room tours would be number one. So I'm going to send you over. The VC loves room tours. So I'm going to send you over to Seeking a Thread, Dom, okay? And he does a room tour, okay? And there's lots of fun things going on in this room tour, okay? That's why I'm sending you over it. There's so many little Easter eggs, okay? It's charming. He's got nooks and crannies. He's got this one section dedicated to counting the records he buys in 2023, holding himself accountable for his couple videos ago, which I love. There's a little bit of an Easter egg related to our last video. He gets a piece of gear he's always wanted, which that is so cool when that happens to people. I love that. But most importantly, Dom's a really nice guy with an amazing channel. He's turned me on to such amazing music, and he's filled in my Swiss cheese brain as I get older on 90s indie music that I've forgotten. And I love that because I loved 90s indie music. Kind of like the Vinyl Douche. And it's a great room tour because there's a lot of charm to it. So head on over. I'm going to link below to it, and you're going to watch Dom's room tour because I know y'all love room tours, and it's a great job. Okay, there's a thread on these channels I'm sending you over to, I promise. But one of my favorite named channels in the VC is Ricefield Records, okay? It's an American, I love that name. It's an American living in Japan, okay? I think his wife is a Japanese national, if I have that correct. And he does a different type of room tour. He does a room tour of a secondhand, or I don't know, I'm not sure what the word they would use in Japan, but a used hi-fi store that has vintage Japanese hi-fi. It has instruments, it has vinyl even. And he does a great tour to show you that. And I know that we all love that. But I want to back up because I've been collecting Japanese jazz for some time. And I don't mean American bands with Japanese pressings. I mean actual Japanese jazz groups, particularly of the 70s and early 80s. And the reason I got into that is because growing up, no one else around me, my family, that circle, was collecting that. And it was something novel to do. They had everything else, and I was looking for something else to do. And this great time of jazz in Japan was in conjunction with a golden era of hi-fi in the same country that they were manufacturing. I've mentioned in the past, some of it got a little too precious because I feel like the gear was trying to impress the recordings, and then eventually the recordings are trying to impress the gear, and that's when things can get too precious, in my opinion. And labels like Barely Breaking Even are now releasing some of these epic private pressings that were just unattainable at such a faster and faster clip. It's hard to keep up. But this room tour that Ricefield Records does is fantastic because I have such an affinity also for some of that Japanese hi-fi. But he mentions something I did know, that the Japanese have an affinity though for JBL, an American company. And not all JBL is equal in Japan to America, but I don't talk a lot of gear, but one of my favorite things is vintage JBL gear, and I have some of it. I love the sound, I love the look, I love everything about it because I associate it with a special time of American hi-fi too. But the Japanese really took a liking to JBL also. And he sneaks some JBL speakers in there. But he just pans all this vintage hi-fi equipment that I just loved. I watched it twice to see if I could pick out things that I knew or maybe a few that I had. So really enjoyed this video. This is an amazing store, and it just gives us a perspective of some of the secondhand stores that we shop here, but in Japan. So thank you, Ricefield Records. This is an amazing video. The real reason I'm wearing this sweater is because the next channel I'm going to highlight and urge you to watch their latest video. This person, this is their favorite sweater. And whenever I wear it, he slides into my DMs and he's like, where'd you get that? How much did it cost? This part's really embarrassing. Can I borrow it? And I'm just like, you know, you live too far, okay? It's just not you, okay? But he knows that I love his channel, and you know him from Rachel's Ghost, and I'm talking about the Waxed. And the theme I'm continuing on is that he talks about a private press that's being reissued, I believe from a friend of his at Omnivore Records, or his friend owns it. And they've done amazing stuff in the past. And it's coming out in February. I'm not going to give all the details. D.B. Schreier, and this was a private press, I think 68. So I'll let Wax, he does a much better job than I will explaining it. But you know, getting these private presses into more hands is great, and it's great on a lot of levels. Sometimes those private presses weren't the greatest quality, and maybe a high quality digital transfer or even the estate might have these tapes in possession. You can sometimes get a much better copy. Of course, those private presses will always have their numerical value, and some of them do sound great. But the ability to get great music that were private presses into more hands is something, it's one of my favorite things that happens in vinyl. And I really, really like it. And Wax talks about it and does a great job explaining about it and when it's available. So I appreciate Wax talking about this, because this is a release that I think I'm really, probably maybe the ones I'm most looking forward to now after watching his review in February. So thanks to Wax, and thanks to everyone for watching the Vinyl Soup. I hope you had fun. I always have fun making these, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.